Welcome to Speak a Tale. Today, we're delving deep into Daring Greatly, how the courage to be vulnerable transforms the way we live, love, parent, and led by Brené Brown. This powerful book breaks down vulnerability, courage, and shame, and shows how embracing our true selves can transform our lives. Brené's research reminds us that it's only by daring to be vulnerable that we can truly experience meaningful relationships, personal growth, and wholehearted living. In this video, we'll cover the book's core ideas in detail to help you fully understand its life-changing concepts. What it means to dare greatly. The idea of daring greatly is inspired by a line in Theodore Roosevelt's speech that praises those who step into the arena and face the challenges of life head-on, rather than avoiding risks. To Brené, daring greatly means showing up fully, even when we don't know the outcome. This isn't about recklessness but about the courage to act, whether it's sharing a new idea, saying, "I love you," first, or admitting when we're wrong. It's about showing up with vulnerability, which Brené describes as our most accurate measure of courage. She argues that our greatest achievements in relationships, careers, and personal lives come when we embrace this kind of vulnerability and choose authenticity over fear. The common misconceptions about vulnerability. Many people believe that vulnerability is a weakness or a flaw to be hidden. Society often pushes us to appear strong, perfect, and in control. However, Brené's research proves that vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a strength. Vulnerability allows us to open up, to try new things, and to connect with others on a meaningful level. It is at the root of creativity, love, and trust. Brené points out that avoiding vulnerability leads to behaviors that keep us stuck: perfectionism, emotional disconnection, and even anger. By resisting vulnerability, we also close ourselves off from experiences that could make us happier and more fulfilled. Understanding shame and its power over us. A key concept in Daring Greatly is understanding and addressing shame. Shame is universal, we all experience it. It's the feeling that tells us we're not good enough or that we don't deserve love, respect, or success. Brené explains that shame is a powerful barrier to vulnerability because it convinces us that if people knew our true selves, they would reject us. This fear of rejection makes us hide who we are and builds up walls that keep us isolated. However, she emphasizes that shame can be managed through something she calls shame resilience. By acknowledging shame, talking openly about it, and practicing self-compassion, we can reduce its power over us. Brené encourages us to confront shame by speaking our truth and finding safe people who can help us grow beyond it. Living wholeheartedly through vulnerability. Wholehearted living is the goal of Daring Greatly, and it means engaging with the world from a place of worthiness. People who live wholeheartedly embrace their imperfections, have deep compassion for themselves, and prioritize authentic connections over superficial appearances. Brené explains that these individuals feel a strong sense of love and belonging, not because they're perfect, but because they believe they're enough as they are. Wholehearted people practice gratitude, set boundaries, and take risks even when they're scared, knowing that vulnerability is the foundation of a meaningful life. Leadership and vulnerability. In Daring Greatly, Brené also explains how vulnerability is essential in leadership. Traditional ideas of leadership associate strength with control and invulnerability. But Brené argues that true leaders are those who have the courage to be vulnerable with their teams. Vulnerable leaders admit when they don't have all the answers, which creates a culture of trust and encourages collaboration. When leaders allow themselves to be human, it empowers others to bring their authentic selves to work. Brené explains that this kind of leadership fosters innovation, creativity, and loyalty because team members feel safe to share their ideas without fear of judgment or failure. Vulnerability in parenting. Parenting, Brené argues, is one of the most vulnerable things we can do. Many parents want to shield their children from discomfort and struggle, believing it's their job to make things as smooth as possible. However, Brené emphasizes that true courage in parenting means allowing children to experience their own failures and challenges. It means showing up with honesty and vulnerability and letting our children know it's okay to be imperfect. Brené explains that modeling vulnerability and self-compassion as parents helps children grow into resilient adults who can face life's challenges. Rather than striving for perfection, parents should focus on creating a safe space for children to be themselves and learn from life's lessons. The cost of avoiding vulnerability. Avoiding vulnerability has a high cost, as Brené explains. When we keep our true selves hidden, we feel disconnected from others and from ourselves. This leads to feelings of isolation and emptiness. To avoid vulnerability, we might also fall into perfectionism, which is a self-destructive and addictive way of avoiding shame. It tricks us into believing that if we are perfect, we'll avoid criticism, but in reality, it just adds more pressure. Additionally, when we avoid vulnerability, we numb not only the pain but also the joy, love, and gratitude that make life meaningful. Brené warns that avoiding vulnerability might feel safe, but it keeps us from living fully. Practical steps to embrace vulnerability. To help us dare greatly, Brené offers several practical steps. First, she suggests identifying our shame triggers, the things that make us feel unworthy or inadequate. By recognizing these triggers, we can begin to confront them rather than hide from them. She also encourages us to practice gratitude, which shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have. Setting boundaries is another important step. Vulnerability doesn't mean oversharing, it means sharing authentically with the right people. Finally, she urges us to take small risks and try things outside our comfort zone. Vulnerability is a skill we can develop, and each step builds our resilience and courage. Conclusion: the transformative power of daring greatly. Brené Brown's Daring Greatly is a powerful call to live authentically by embracing vulnerability. The book challenges us to let go of the fears and self-doubt that keep us stuck and to step into the arena of life with courage. It reminds us that the key to fulfilling relationships, meaningful work, and a strong sense of purpose lies in daring to be seen for who we really are. By daring greatly, we not only enrich our lives but also inspire others to do the same. Thank you for joining me today on Speak a Tale. I hope this summary of Daring Greatly has inspired you to take a step towards embracing vulnerability in your own life. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts on vulnerability. Until next time, remember, dare greatly and live wholeheartedly.